Hello, everybody, and welcome back to opening day for season number 2 here for the Detroit Tigers here on Cardboard Cutouts. And we're going to start off at Comerica Park. And you're going to see our numbers here. We didn't have too bad of a statistical year, but nothing really meshed together all at once. And Spencer Turnbull is going to get the nod on opening day. We're looking for a bounce back season. We're hoping he can lead this staff going forward. So first up is Barry Gasaldo. Actually, the Mariners' first round pick in this past year's draft. He's already on the squad leading off, but here he's going to strike out for the first out of the season and first strikeout of the season. Next up is J.P. Crawford on a 1-2 count, and he's going to chase the ball a little bit, and Bob Montes is going to camp underneath that for out number 2. And that'll bring up the newly acquired Gurriel Jr. for the Mariners. He has a 2-2 count, and he is going to send a ball to right center, once again camped on underneath by Bob Montes to end the top of the first. Now on to the bottom of the first. Victor Reyes will lead us off to start the game, and he is going to send a ball to right center, and that is going to drop in there for a leadoff single here in the first game. Next up, Jeimer Candelario on a 2-2 count, and he sends a hard hit ball to left, perhaps a little too hard of a hit, because that's going to get reined in there for out number 1. Next up is Willie Castro, back from injury this year on a 3-2 count, and he swings through strike number 3. 2 outs now, and that'll step in Wilson Ramos on a 0-1 count, and he sends a ball through the left side of the infield. That's going to get through. That's going to put 2 men on the bases here. Next up, Jonathan Schoop, and he's first pitch swinging, and that's going to get gloved by the third baseman on to second for out number 3 to end the threat. So the Mariners also signed Kyle Schwarber in the offseason, and here he is batting 4th for them on an 0-2 count, and he's going to send a blooper out to right, and that's going to beat the shift as that gets down to lead off the second with a single. Now, next up, Dylan Moore, and he has a 1-2 count, and Turnbull gets his ground ball, but oh no, Willie Castro boots it, and he can't recover, so both runners are safe and with no outs. What a terrible error there for us. Now, next up, Evan White, 0-2 count, and he's going to pop out to first base as the infield fly roll is called. That's going to be out number 1. Next up, Steven Souza Jr., and he's going to send a ball down the left field line. Candelario makes the play, but he can only throw it to first, so the runners will advance, but there are 2 outs. So Jake Schneider steps in, and can Turnbull get out of this? And no, he can't. That is just past Candelario's outstretched mitt. That's going to roll all the way to the wall, and the Seattle Mariners are going to take a 2-run lead off that RBI double. So in steps in Brian O'Keefe, and he is going to get frozen for strike 3 to end this inning finally. Now, we are going to look at Sean Durant's first major league at-bat here in the bottom of the second on a 1-2 count, and he swings through strike 3 for out number 1. Now, another guy we're looking for a better year out of this year is Reynaldo Nunez, and he's going to send a ball. Does it have enough carry? That is going, and it does not have enough carry as that is caught on the warning track for out number 2. Now, next up is Bob Montes, who is also making his major league debut on a 2-2 count, and he looks at strike 3 to end the inning here. So, top of the third now, and Gurriel Jr. is back up to bat with a man on second and 1 out, and he sends a ball over the first baseman, and that is going to get down, roll all the way to the wall. The runner will come to score, and Gurriel Jr. is going to have himself an RBI double. Next up, Kyle Schwarber with another 0-2 count. He's going to send a fly ball, but this time Bob Montes is going to camp underneath of it for out number 2. So that'll bring up Dylan Moore on an 0-2 count as well, and he sends a ball to left. Robbie Grossman's going to backpedal a little bit, camp underneath of it, and out number 3 to end the inning. So we're going to jump ahead to all the way to the top of the 7th. Both offenses have gone completely stagnant in those last few innings, and Kyle Funkhauser is on the pitch now. This is his second inning of work, facing Jake Schneider up and with 1 out on a 1-1 count, and he sends a ball deep to left field. That's going to be a no doubt home run. The Mariners are going to go up 4-0 here. So on to the 8th, Gerson Moreno is going to make his major league debut as well. This is just a day of debuts, I guess. Now, Gurriel Jr. is his first batter, and he's going to get him to ground out to shortstop for out number 1. Next up, a far tougher task in Kyle Schwarber, and he gets him to ground up to the mound. Moreno throws on to first, out number 2. Next up, Dylan Moore, 0-1 count, and he is going to send the ball to left. That one will be caught by Robbie Grossman, and Gerson Moreno was going to have himself a quick inning, and that's a pretty impressive debut for him. Only throwing 8 pitches that inning. Now, on to the bottom of the 8th. Bob Montes is going to come up to bat with a man out. He sends a liner to third. That kicks off the third baseman's gloves. He picks it up, throws to first, and that is not in time. Montes beats it out, and that is going to be his first hit of his major league career. So congrats to him. Now, that'll bring Robbie Grossman up to the plate on a 1-2 count, and he sends just a ground ball to the mound on to second, back on to first, and that is an inning-ending double play. And we're going to have another young arm making his debut here as Ernest Cabrera comes into the end on the top of the 9th to make his major league debut as well. And his first batter is going to be Evan White on an 0-2 count, and he swings through strike number 3, and that's going to be Cabrera's first strikeout of his career. Congrats to him as well. Next up, Steven Souza Jr. after a long battle, and he's going to send a fly ball out to left center. Grossman will camp underneath of it, out number 2. Now next up, Jake Schneider here, and he is going to swing through strike 3 as well. Ramos throws down to first to complete the strikeout, and that's the end of the top of the 9th. Now, on to the bottom of the 9th, last gas for the Tigers here. Victor Reyes will lead us off, and he is going to send a grounder to second. That's an easy pick up and throw to first for out number 1. Next up, Jeimer Candelario on a 1-0 count, and he sends a ball to the left side of the infield, and the shortstop is going to get it, throw on to first, and that is a great play to get him for out number 2. Next up, Willie Castro, last chance for the Tigers, and he sends the ball down the left field line. Nothing the third baseman can do. Willie Castro is running hard, and he is going to get himself into scoring position here with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Wilson Ramos, and a great opportunity for early RBI, and he is first pitch swinging, and he is just going to pop it out to the catcher to end the game, and we lose 4-0 as we get shut out in the first game of the year. Now, Marco Gonzalez gets the win and also player of the game as he goes the full 9. Spencer Turnbull picks up the loss. That botched double play by Castro in the second inning really hurt him. That allowed 2 runs to score. And we did not also have a good day at the plate. We didn't get a whole lot of people on, and we didn't get the clutch hits that we needed when we had the people on. So that's something we hope improves as the season progresses. So we end up winning the second game, and we go into the third game looking for the series victory as Casey Mize takes the mound. Now, last year was his first year in the bigs, so his numbers are a little high, but that's mostly you're getting your feet wet. So we're looking for him to improve upon what he did last year and have better numbers this year. But here he is against Barry Gasaldo, who's batting .500 through the first 2 games. And he's first pitch swinging, and that is going to be a ground ball to Scope at second, who flips on to first for a very quick out number 1. Now, next up, J.P. Crawford on a 3-1 count, and he sends a ball to the left side of the infield. Candelario dives, but that is going to put Crawford on as Candelario cannot make the play. Next up, Gurriel Jr., and he sends a liner, and that is snagged by Scope for out number 2. Next up is Kyle Schwarber. Here he is with a 1-1 count, and he sends a ball deep to left field. Does it have enough? No, that's going to bang off the wall. The runner is going to score from first, and Schwarber is going to have himself an RBI triple to put the Mariners up 1-0 early in the game. Now, Dylan Moore will step into bat. He's first pitch swinging. He sends a tapper in front of a home plate. Ramos will pick it up and throw to second to end the inning. Now, after a walk to Victor Reyes, Harold Castro comes up. He sends a ball deep to right, and no, Souza Jr. is going to make the play. That would have scored Victor Reyes had that hit the wall and bounced away. Victor Reyes has some speed and he can run. Now, after a fly out by Willie Castro, Wilson Ramos steps in and he also sends a ball deep to right. Souza Jr. going back and he makes the catch, crashing into the wall, taking away another hit and taking away another RBI opportunity to keep the Mariners lead at 1. What a play. So we're going to make another big jump here to the top of the 6th as both offenses go stagnant once again. And Barry Gasaldo is going to lead off for the Mariners here, as you just saw him take ball number 1. Now the 1-0, and he's going to send a ball up the middle, and that's going to drop in for a leadoff single. Now next up, J.P. Crawford on a 1-2 count, and that's going to run in a bit, and he's going to get hit for men on. Now next up, Gurriel Jr., and he's going to send a pop out to first. Infield fly is called for out number 1. Now, Kyle Schwarber will stand in on a 1-2 count. He sends a little flare out to left. That's going to get down. Grossman charging, but he double clutches instead of just throwing the ball. If he had come up firing, that would have been a much closer play, but the run scores for a 2-0 lead. Now, Dylan Moore is up, also with a 1-2 count, but he swings through strike 3 for out number 2. That'll bring up Evan White. First pitch swinging. That's going to be grounded to Candelario at third. On to first to end the 6th inning. So we're going to go to the home half of the 6th now. Victor Reyes is going to lead it off here with a 1-0 count. He sends a hard hit ball up the middle, and that's going to get down for a leadoff single for the Tigers. Next up is going to be Harold Castro, and he's going to send a ball to left center, and no one's going to get that, as that's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Victor Reyes is going to race home, and Harold Castro is going to try to stretch this into a triple, and he does, as he's just in there before the tag. The Tigers get one back, 2-1, with an RBI triple. Next up, Willie Castro, and he sends a ball to left field, but this is not deep enough to score the run, as Harold Castro has to hold at third. That'll bring up Wilson Ramos now. Same situation, he sends a ball to right, and Souza Jr. is going to make that catch, but he falls down, allowing Harold Castro to come home and tie the game up at 2. So on to the top of the 7th now. Casey Mize is still in the pitch, hoping to get the win, and he's going to get Souza Jr. to ground out to first for out number 1. Now Jake Schneider is up next, 0-2 count. He sends a ball to second base, and that is snagged by Jonathan Schoop for out number 2. Now Brian O'Keefe will stand in, 1-2 count, hits the ball hard up the middle, and that is going to bounce off Mize as that gets far enough away as O'Keefe gets in there for a single to keep the inning alive. Now next up, Barry Gasaldo is up as the lineup flips over, and he sends a ball, and that is knocked down by Nunez. And a little miscommunication there between Nunez and Mize, but Nunez is able to recover and get the out to end the inning. So that'll take us to the bottom of the 7th. Nunez is up. He hasn't had a hit this year, but he's going to go against the shift, get over the first baseman's glove, and all the way to the wall and right. Nunez is rounding hard, and he gets in there with a lead-off double to get us started. Now, Jeimer Candelario is up next on an all-out count. He is first pitch swinging, and he breaks his bat, and that stays fair. The pitcher comes off the mound and guns him out at first base for out number 1. Next up, Bob Montez, and he sends a hard hit ball up the middle. Nunez is going to go to third, but he does not test it, and he stays at third. But we are going to have men on the corners with one out in the bottom of the 2nd here. So Robbie Grossman is up next, 1-2 count, and he gets hit. That's going to load the bases with one out. Now, Victor Reyes is up, and he's going to send a ball through the left side of the infield. One run's going to come to score. Montez is rounding, going home, and the throw's not in time as the Tigers take a 4-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Now, Harold Castro is up again, 2-2 count, and he sends a ball, and that is just foul later in his at bat, and he sends a liner, and that's snagged by the second baseman to keep a run from scoring. 2 outs. Now, Willie Castro is up, and he sends a chopper to third. That is fielded, thrown on to first, and that will end the inning, but not before the Tigers take the lead. So we're going to bring in Soto here to pitch in the 8th, and we're hoping he can hold the 2-run lead that we have. So first up will be J.P. Crawford with a 2-2 count, and he strikes out on a slider. Next up is Gurriel Jr. here with a 0-2 count, and he sends a ball deep to the left center. That one is gone. Now, Gurriel Jr. hits much better against left-handers, and we knew bringing in Soto was a risk, but he is sandwiched in between 2 left-handers hitting batters, and we are hoping that'd be a risk we could live with, and he just absolutely makes us pay as the Mariners get within 1. Now, Kyle Schwarber will stand in on a 1-1 count. He is just going to send a fly ball out to right. Montez underneath that for out number 2. Dylan Moore will stand in next, 2-2 count, and he's going to send a chopper to short. Castro Fields throws it against his body, and he gets it for out number 3 to end the inning. Now, on to the top of the 9th, Michael Aoki will pitch for his first save opportunity, and he gets Evan White to strike out for out number 1. Next up, Steven Souza Jr., 1-1 count, and he sends a ball to the left side of the infield, and that is going to get through for a single. So that'll bring in Jake Schneider here, and he's going to send a ball deep to left center, and they do bring a pitch runner in who has 98 speed, but Grossman makes the play, and the runner has to retreat back to first. Brian O'Keefe stands in next, and he sends a ball past a diving Nunez at first, but for some reason the runner does not advance to third. So 2 men on, first and second, 2 outs. Barry Gasaldo is up next, and he is going to ground out to short as they flip it on to first. The Tigers get the win, and they take this series here to open the year. So Casey Mize ends up getting the win and player of the game, pitching 7 innings, only allowing 2 earned runs. But it's our offense that's struggling, and I think we just need a little extra oomph, and I don't know if anyone is really ready in the minors to provide that. So we go looking in the free agency, and we come across Nelson Cruz, and we can get him for 1 year, $2 million, which I think is amazing. We don't need him to play the field. We just need him to sit in the DH spot and hit, and that's what he does. So I am going to offer him this contract, and he is going to accept. And I think that's going to fill a void for us this year as we kind of transition and kind of figure out an identity on offense. Now, to make room for Cruz, we do send Baddoo down to AAA. And speaking of AAA, next episode we are going to start there, as this is the Mud Hens' first game of the year, and Tarek Skubal will be taking the mound, and he'll get the opening day nod for the Mud Hens. But maybe just as important is Miguel Montano will be making his AAA professional debut here. He will be batting second and playing second, and I cannot wait for this. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of the Nelson Cruz pickup, and I hope you will be back to watch Miguel Montano make his debut. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next episode here on Cardboard Cutouts.